Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wist. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. All right. Hello, sir. What is your name today?
My name is Aliaksei Paluyan.
Thank you. What does it mean to have your documentary Courage featured in this year's edition of the Berlinale?
First of all, I would like to say thank you for your invitation to the radio. I would like to say I'm not so good in my English, but I will give my best. Yeah. Your question was, what is the film Courage? Courage is a film about three independent artists from Belarus that try to understand what is the role of their free artists in such countries as Belarus, such authorial countries.
Okay, and why did you want to make this documentary?
Firstly, because I personally wanted to understand, is it possible to be a free artist in such countries? And then the second impulse for me was that I admire a lot of these people, and not only for their professional principle, but also for a personal principle, because they do really in such way impossible things, because they speak about the topics that nobody have courage to speak about it. They speak about topics, for example, as death penalty. Could you imagine Belarus is the only country in Europe that have death penalty, and these artists speak about this in their plays, in their theatrical plays. And yeah, for me it was I was really shocked of this honesty to the art. And then I started to get in contact with them, all these people, and to try to go in there and to win the respect of them, and started to do this film. And during this process, a lot of changed. For example, the conflict, for example, that we have at the beginning of the shooting, for example, and now conflict is now much more huge in Belarus because of protests, because of political crisis.
Okay. How does it feel that the documentary is in the Berlinale?
It's very symbolical, because I say a lot of parallels between history of Berlin and history of Minsk, because people in Berlin have special history. I think this most painful history of all European cities as Berlin, because your city was divided as a scalpel into two countries, and Berliner people really know what is the cost of to be free. And for me as Belarusian, is right now is also very interesting and at the same time painful question, because we are on this way to be free, and we are understanding now what is the price to be free. And I see a lot of symbolic with Berlin, that premiere of our film is on Berlinale, in such important political festival, and it gives our film a bright political resonance. It gives a strong voice to this topic. And,
so how many people were in the crew for the documentary?
We were quite small team. Most of process shooting, I was with I worked with two different DOPs. One of them was German person. His name is Jesse Mazuk. He worked with on other documentaries, and during this last summer, during the demonstration part, I shot it with Belarusian DOP. She's Tanya Havrilchik. She's quite courageous cinematographer. I think you can imagine it if you looked at the pictures. And yeah, we was only two person as I mentioned, and there are some other person as a producer from Germany and editor from Germany, and we have some sound recordists from Belarus also during their theater part of shooting.
Were there other documentaries that inspired you?
In general?
Yeah.
Yes, I like very much some documentaries by Krzysztof Kieślowski, some documentary by Sergei Luznica. I like very much documentary by Viktor Kosakowski, and there are a lot of good documentaries. It's not possible to name only 2, 3.
Definitely. But was there one you were looking at? It was like, I want to make a movie like that for courage.
Very complicated question, Michael. Very complicated, really. I couldn't give you answer. Really.
Yeah.
Very
tough question. All right. Please tell me about your short films.
My short films. I'm do also fiction films, not only documentary. And my last short film called Lake of Happiness. It was it's a story about one girl. She's 9 years old, and her mother died, and her father decided to bring her to orphanage and said to her that I will come and take you home, but he didn't come back, and she ran away. She ran to him. It's a very personal story of my father, and this short film had a good festival way. The film was screened at numerous worldwide festivals, was a candidate to European Film Academy Prize, and was longlisted to the Oscar last year.
Okay. How did you get into filmmaking, and why did you choose this business?
I don't really call this business. For me, it's profession.
Yeah.
Why? It's also a very tough question. Because I love cinema, and I love this way of speaking with audience. I'm not so strong in speaking, word. For example, I couldn't write the stories, and I'm very visual person. I understand this world very visual, and I like to do or to create films with minimum as possible words, minimum as possible dialogues to tell the story through the cinematographic language, and I tried to do it in my short fiction films, and now in Courage also. If you see, I use a lot of observation. I try don't to control the reality. I see the reality, I observe this reality, and then during the editing phase, I give a chance to audience to see this material footage, and that it could build in their minds her own perspective, and it's maybe one of main reasons why I do a cinema.
Okay. Who are your favorite contemporary filmmakers?
Contemporary filmmakers. Oh. It's quite different. I think maybe it is Andrei Zvyagintsev or Pavel Pawlikowski, one of these two persons.
Oh, well, we'll have to look them up. What genre would you like to make a feature-length film in?
I usually work in drama genre because it's most interesting for me. Classical drama is if your protagonist have at the beginning of the story one understandable of this world, how does it work, and during the story, during the different experience on this way, he changed his mind of how this world function in general. And I like to work with this transformation of mind of protagonists. And it's most interesting for me. Most interesting for me.
Yeah. What do you want viewers to take away from Courage?
Sorry?
What do you want viewers to take away from Courage? What do you want them to get out of the experience?
From the shooting experience, or what do you mean?
From viewing the movie, what do you want them to learn from your projects?
Okay. Very good question, really. Like, I know the answer. It's very interesting because during the process of working on your project, you find out personally much more new about yourself. You know, and because every film, it's your mind and your point of view on this topic. And it's really interesting because during the process, I asked myself, do you really know your own person in your country? Do you understand who is Belarusian people are? And this is why I admire your question, because it's quite a smart question. And you know, during this process, I understood that I've learned during this process that who we are. And now I very glad that I could say that maybe I learned more about Belarusian, because now I'm happy that we choose this peaceful way of protest, you know, and this decision explain a lot about us, where some people from different countries around Belarus say to us, "You are so peaceful. It's not possible because you're so boring. you choose only peaceful way of protest, peaceful way of life. It's not possible. It's not possible." And you know, sometimes I had the same thoughts, and I was very critical to Belarus and say, people, look, 26 years, this person use a whole country as he want. Is it possible to live without eyes? And then, you know, during this summer, I understood. In some way, it's not so bad solution, because some people are emotional. If we lose our, I would like to say, human being face during this protest, and started to take a gun and start, you know, build a big mistake, and to start to do a conflict between these policemen, you know, really big, it will be really big catastrophe. It will be much more huge, crashful as in Maidan in Kiev. You know, it will be really civil war. And these people didn't choose this way, you know, they choose peaceful way, a long way. It is very long and hard way, but they choose this way. And this is fact I admire right now. And I think I learned about myself, about Belarusian people, this fact, that sometimes people need time to take 2 steps back, to observe the situation, to try to give you emotional back, to turn your head and say, no, not gun. We'll go back. And I admire this decision. And I think I learned, and I took from Courage to myself this fact.
That's amazing.
I think you understand what I mean, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. That was really well said. And I want to thank you for your time. It's been a really interesting conversation, and I recommend, especially for people who want to know what's going on in Belarus right now, or they don't even know what Belarus is. Do you have anything else you would like to say before I let you go?
Yeah, I would like to say that as it's in some months, Courage could be possible to see in Canada. Oh. And it's not official right now. That means that I couldn't say more exactly, more detail.